Welcome to the Agility in Real Life podcast, Take 5 in Real Life. Now your hosts, Mike Studeman and Jeff Lee.
Hi, and welcome back to the take5IRL podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Lee, partner at agilityIRL.
And I'm your other host, the other partner at agilityIRL, Mike Studeman. Jeff, I hope you're having a good day today. One of the things that we encounter quite frequently is people in attempting to engage us as coaches to support their Agile transformation. And one of the common questions we get from clients is, well, what do we need to have in place to ensure that our transformation is successful prior to engaging two gentlemen like yourselves? So I wanted to put that question to you here in this episode. What does a client need to ensure success with their Agile transformation prior to bringing on coaches like us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the short answer is there's no short answer to that. There's a number of different ways to approach it. And it's really understanding what the shortcomings are that you're going to run into based on how you're approaching it. So we have some clients who realize that their leadership isn't fully on board with this thing. It seems new and like something startups do, whatever. And they're not going to be totally on board. So they approach it with a pilot, right? Let's get a group doing it, show some success, and then have it expand throughout the organization. Inevitably, when you do that approach, you're going to run into barriers, right? Both for that pilot team to get others working with them in a way that encourages agility, as well as when you actually try to you can show some results and try to scale it out sideways, really get more teams involved. But then you find out you're running into some organizational barriers where the organization is requiring things that maybe don't work very well in an Agile model.
Yeah, I think the positive of the pilot approach is you kind of get your own internal case study. It takes away some of the pushback of it can't work here. But I definitely agree with you that you're going to eventually run into some of those organizational structural issues that can't be addressed without a more significant organizational change. I think, that's kind of one approach. The other approach is kind of a top-down approach where you're like, we're going all Agile, whatever that means. I think, if you're going to take that approach, you really have to understand, and this isn't specific to that approach, but to both approaches and anything in between, you really have to understand the outcomes that you're trying to get by becoming more adaptive in your environment. You and I constantly see clients that are like, well, we're doing an Agile transformation. Well, great. What are you trying to achieve from a business perspective? Well, we're trying to do SAFe. We're trying to do Scrum. We're trying to do Kanban. That's not a business outcome. A business outcome is we're trying to decrease our time to market. We're trying to increase our level of quality. We're trying to increase our customer satisfaction. So I think you need to have those business outcomes not only identified, but also leaders have to be aligned on that, on those outcomes being important. Right. Are there other things, Jeff, that you would say that you got to have in place regardless of the approach that you take?
Well, yeah, just expanding on where you were going there. Like, what are the metrics that you care about, right? Are you looking to release at the end of every sprint? Or forget about the sprints. Are you looking to release more often? Do you only release, you try to do it once a month right now, but end up backing it out half the time because of quality issues? So understand your baseline of how often you release, what you're trying to get to, and track that. Right. What we run into a lot of times is companies are excited to get started. They want to get started, whether it's pilot approach or top down. And their primary metric they want to track is, are we getting more points done in every subsequent sprint? Doesn't tell you anything about your business outcomes. Right. And it doesn't give you any baseline of how you used to work, the new way of working. So all it takes is one leader who comes in and says, this approach doesn't make sense to me. And the whole thing is gone because you don't have any way of showing that it's better for your business to work this way.
Yeah, and I think your point there about having a baseline, unfortunately, a lot of clients just kind of come in with kind of a grayish view of their product development process. It's not working. They're always late. We don't get things out on time, and that's not the baseline that you're talking about. You need to be very, very concrete about what are you specifically trying to increase, decrease, make better. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very hard, if not impossible, to hit it.
Yeah. So bottom line, what do you have to have before starting this is understand what you're trying to get out of it. Bottom line, whether it's a single pilot team or a department or an entire organization, how is this going to make your business better? How is it going to make the lives of your employees better? What are the things you care about, right? Some companies need to put those in entirely different balances. And so you just have to define what that is for your company, have a baseline, track it.
Yeah, get those outcomes established, get your baseline established. We can certainly help you with that at Agility IRL. But regardless, get those in place before you embark on your transformation journey.
Yeah. And if any of you right now are thinking about wanting to get started and, struggling to put together a business case for it or to convince people, yeah, this is better for us, start thinking about those things. What's important? What's your current state? What do you aspire to get to? If you can put those things together and make it work for dollars and cents from a business perspective, you're going to get a lot more attention from leaders than just kind of the theory of this is the way to go now. It's the new right way of doing it.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, I think we've given our listeners hopefully something to focus on. Have a great remainder of the day, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
The product vision for take5IRL is to provide members of the Agile community with an idea that they can incorporate into their daily lives to make them more effective. We thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.